I spent a little extra time this morning trying to digest what happened in the past couple of days with the World Economic Forum and all this. Oh, by the way, this is the 0DTE morning market analysis. You might be wondering because you're saying, man, what the hell is he talking about the WEF for? And the reason why is that it has broad implications on our markets, our economy going forward. I don't know if, unless you're sitting under a rock, there is apparently this sea change, almost a complete flip in how the U.S. is going to address the world from an economic standpoint. And the WEF, their conference that's going on since Tuesday, and I think it culminates today, is punctuating that shift, particularly with Trump's address. It was a lot like his inauguration when he was giving his basically his acceptance speech and everything, and then saying how he's going to change everything right in front of the outgoing administration. He's essentially doing the same thing now to the globalist. And I just wanted to address that and how that might affect us as traders, because I think it's important to recognize that there are going to be some big changes. And overall, I think that it's going to mean a lot of volatility coming through, but kind of in spurts, as these different changes take effect. And so I thought I'd just address that. But before I do, I would like to do our standard, for those that don't really care, you should, but for those that don't care, I'm going to get right into the 0DTE analysis. And what we do there is we're trading out of the money butterflies. We take asymmetric positions, taking very small risk for large potential rewards. And we're looking for three things: volatility in the morning to determine our overall risk adjusted position to that volatility, to adjust for the either accelerated or decelerated premium decay. We're looking for market direction, so we know whether or not to put on out of the money call flies or put flies. I think everybody knows that today it's a call fly. And also looking at the market structure with a volume profile analysis to determine where our likely entry levels will be. So those are the three things that we're doing. So why don't we get right to it, and then I'll address the WEF, or Trump's Davos Defiance. I'm sorry. But I'm an anti-globalist, as if you probably couldn't tell, and this is refreshing. That's all I have to say. So on to the charts. All right, here we go. Volatility, the VIX. Here's where we decide, or we determine what our range of out of the money flies widths are going to be, and we can see volatility is dropping. I expect it to potentially drop a little bit more, and you'll see why in a second. So that's indicating that we're looking at 15 to 25 wide flies. We're also still in this favorable conditions for a time warp strategy. It's an edge case strategy. It's where we do it's more than just 0DTE now. So now we're looking at trades that are 1 or 2 days out. And we did take trades yesterday. They were both successful, a 0DTE and a 1DTE. And then so now we're looking to put on another 0DTE trade and potentially one for Monday as well. So we follow the same rules for the 1DTE and 2DTE in that we're looking for interaction with our market structure. Yeah, that's been working fantastically. So let's take a look. Well, there is going to be no big ass fly today because the debit for that trade is above 30 now. So we're looking at, again, in the 15 to 20 wide range for our flies. So next we'll take a look at market direction, and it is obviously up. We've pulled back just a little bit here, but I don't see that as an issue right now. I think that we're going to continue up today. Of course, no one ever really knows. However, you could look at this and say, man, we're going on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 days of up movement. Of course, this is the ES. If we look at it from the perspective of the SPX, I mean, and this is another reason for the time warp strategy, the multi-day DTE, are these gaps that are happening here. That represents a significant amount of market movement that's happening in the Globex overnight session. And that's hard to capture all the time in your intraday session. So you might have small doji moves like this one that we had and this guy up here the day before yesterday. So that's why we go to this multi-day session, so that we can recapture not only the premium that has accelerated in its decay, but also in the overnight market movements. So, I mean, that's just that's almost very much like what we had at the very beginning of the year. Let's see if we can capture that. Not quite as much. I mean, although we were getting a lot of gaps and a lot of dojis during the days, and that's when we originally developed our time warp strategy to sort of accommodate this that new paradigm. All right, so we're in that situation again, and that's why we're going for the multi-day DTE. All right, and so now we're going to take a look at our directions, our entry opportunities. And so we're looking at, we're right above this volume node. You can see if you look closely, you see this green and red line. That's outlining the current volume node that we just escaped from. So maybe I should go to a bigger picture so you can see exactly where we are. And now we're looking at potentially getting to new all-time highs. So we're really on a dramatic run here. And I don't know when it's going to stop, to tell you the truth. So let's take a look at a bigger picture here, and we'll look at the volume profile. So we've escaped this volume node up here, sort of the last remaining large node. There is a very small node here at the very top at the market highs. We're heading into a much lower area of liquidity with lower volume action, and so you can expect lower liquidity. And once we get into these empty spaces that we call volume wells, it's usually a quick jump up to the next volume node, which would be this guy here on the E-mini, centered with the POC at about 61.84. I can see us jumping this gap here very easily today, and potentially threatening all-time highs. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And if we do, just the way things are going, I don't know if you've been watching the momentum this administration has is pretty impressive. I think a lot of incredible things are happening that are going to directly affect us as traders. So you need to keep a thumb on all that. And so I'm looking at potential new highs today, believe it or not. So there you go. Let's see if I can just get rid of some of this chicken scratch so you can see where we're at. Right? So we only need to get above this very minor kind of fragmented volume node here, and then into here, and then up to this very last node that we deposited way back in the beginning of December. All right. So that's the situation. We're looking for, like I said, pullbacks. And we'll look at that right here. So what I usually do is put these little pads on those areas that kind of indicate. So we're looking for maybe a pullback to the top of this node here, right, for an entry. I don't have much up here because it's really fragmented and hard to determine exactly where where there would be support or resistance, but this is probably the most likely place to have a pullback right here. So we'll be looking for something like this, and then take a position above. Of course, that's exactly what happened yesterday. We pulled back to this level at 61.11 and took positions above the market, and that turned out incredibly. A lot of our members actually experienced pinned trades yesterday. So that's where you get the maximum, a 1 to 10 risk, man. You bet 1,000, make 1,000. I'm sorry, bet 100, make 1,000. That's not a bad deal. If you'd like to know more about this strategy, please go down below, click on the join the 0DTE Academy link, and you can learn about our strategy and our methods, our process, and learn how to become a consistent trader, a consistently profitable trader, and trade at a pro level. All right, so maybe I should talk a little bit about the economic forum. Very little. I don't want to bore you with that, but and I didn't actually watch it. I didn't have the time to watch it. I just did some X searches and used Grok to kind of summarize what was going on there. So this is all from the perspective of an AI that just is looking at the chatter that's going on in X, which is a pretty good source. So let's first of all go back to the big head here. How you doing? And I'll just get my notes up here and see what the summary was. All right. So this is how Grok sort of outlined it all. It said Trump's address was an America First narrative. He asserted a strong rejection of globalist policies. Big surprise! Emphasizing American-centric strategies. And he declared America is back and open for business, directly challenging the WEF's globalist agenda. That must have been great. I'm sorry, but this is definitely a refreshing change. Key policy highlights: energy and environment, promoted fossil fuel production and withdrew support for climate change policies like the Paris Climate Accord. That must have just ripped their heart out, I'm telling you. Foreign policy announced freezing foreign aid, signaling a shift towards prioritizing domestic interest, America first. His economic approach, proposing tackling U.S. debt through spending cuts, tariffs. Oh, I'm sure they love to hear that, because now he's basically saying the United States is going to tax the world if you want to do business here. And an expansion of GDP. Mentioned strategies to influence oil prices via Saudi negotiations and Federal Reserve pressure. He's also talking about increasing drilling here and oil production, and make best use of that and compel other countries to buy U.S. oil and energy. Okay, Grok says there's a populist appeal here. That wasn't as if we didn't know that. Strong alignment with populist sentiments, focusing on national sovereignty and traditional energy sources, appealing to domestic first economic strategy. So today, I'm sure that there's going to be some blowback on this, and either there's going to be some defiance on other globalists, or there's going to be some sort of alignment. That is going to be the interesting part, right? So how are they going to try to counter Trump's stance, or are they going to, basically fall in line? The globalists are at a turning point here. I think that they see the end is potentially near, and there's a lot of money there, and whether or not they're going to provide some resistance to that, it's probably likely, but I think that they'll fail. Big stuff. We'll talk about it more later. I don't want to, drone on about it. Again, let's review what we're doing. We have, excuse me, We're looking at time warp strategies or multi-day DTEs. So 0 DTE today and potentially take a trade for Monday, even Tuesday. And relatively narrow flies, 15 to 20 wide, to accommodate the low VIX and volatility and the increase in premium decay and the higher gamma. There may be some opportunities for gamma scalping near the end of the day, and I'll talk about that some more. And it looks like we're going to have a pullback to the top of the current volume node, and we'll see what happens. I mean, we might move back there and kind of do a pause because it's the weekend. I don't know. Or there might be some irrational exuberance and we decide to shoot for new all-time highs. Anything can happen in this market, but that's it for now. I want to thank you all very much, and I hope you all have a great weekend. This is Coach Ernie, out.